What's up, podcast listeners? It's your host, Rafał Matuszewski, and this is another edition of my car vlog podcast thing that I've been doing. Hopefully you've been enjoying these. That's all I got to say, because it's been making my life a lot easier, not sitting at home while doing one of these, but I am due for another presentation like I've done before. But today, I hope to keep this under 15 minutes. I forgot to look up my stats of cities that have been listening to me. But I did check yesterday, so it's not completely up to date, but it's still cool. So since last weekend, I was in San Francisco, and when I did my solo episode for Sunday, that was my top city. And I was literally in the city of San Francisco, which was super cool. And today, I still hope that San Fran is my number one city. So shout out to everyone in San Francisco listening to my show. That's super cool. Had a blast at a course there. Got to see the Golden Gate Bridge. It was super awesome. But anyway, let's get into the show. So the topic I want to cover today, again, we're going to kind of go back to the whole idea of the bigger picture of success in the fitness and health realm. And the topic I want to cover today is vulnerability. I was listening to a podcast actually this morning going to work, and a quote kind of just stuck into my head, and it went something about achieving goals. It was just all about goals, and the more you want it to happen faster makes you more vulnerable to failure. And that really hit home to me, and it makes sense to why so many people fail when it comes to really anything in life. Because we live in a world right now that, just think about what we have in our hand every single day. We have one of the most powerful tools ever in the palm of our hand 24/7 essentially now. Like, if you wanted to search up some sort of fact about history, it can take you less than 10 seconds to figure that out and another 10 seconds to read it. Like, that's unbelievable, 20 years ago, if you were running your own business and had to go home or travel somewhere, you didn't have access to the internet because you weren't plugged into, maybe this is even 30 years ago because it's 2020, like 30 years ago. Think about that. And now we have this little thing in our hand that allows us to access information so quickly. We get pissed off if our phone goes slow. Like, it's all about speed right now. Amazon Prime, like, you can get stuff on the same day that you fucking purchased it. Like, that blows my mind that we're able to do that. So naturally, it would make sense that when we want to achieve things in our life, it should be at the same rate. And I think this is happening to this next generation of, kids getting out of high school, because they basically grew into that generation of speed, fast, everything is done. That they want their careers and their life to be the same way, Like, if you follow Gary Vaynerchuk, which I suggest you do, he always starts his keynotes asking the age of his audience. And he always says, like, if you're under 30, lift your hand up. And it's primarily the entire audience. And then the next thing he says is like, fuck, you have so much time. And even the people that I work with that are younger than me, that feel frustrated or neglected at work, they're like not getting to where they want to be, I'm like, I'll tell them the same thing over and over again. I'm like, you can do everything wrong in your life right now for the next 5 years, maybe even 10 years, and you're still gonna end up on the top. Like, you're gonna be successful if you put the work in it. You know? If you look at the statistics of millionaires in the States, a lot of them are, between the ages of like 50 to 80 years old. And then you have a 23-year-old expecting that they're going to be making 6 figures. So where am I going with all this? I'm getting off track. The speed that you want your success to be in your weight loss, your strength, your body transformation, whatever you're doing, makes you so much more vulnerable to failure beyond what you really, really think it could be. As human beings, we have a lot of emotional things that happen to us. And vulnerability can engulf your entire body, both physically and emotionally. Just because you spent 6 weeks trying to get your health together and then you're not seeing what you want to see, it's ludicrous. Really think about that. 6 weeks. When things in life that are worth it to be really proud of takes more than 6 weeks. You really need to think about your vulnerabilities going into this whole idea of losing weight and being successful. And if you're a coach listening, these are the conversations you need to have with your clients. Because, if you don't educate them about this stuff, they're just going to assume that weight loss is actually an easy thing, because they've probably gone through so many different approaches to leading, their way to success. And they just assume that because they haven't seen success, it's because they haven't found the right trainer, the right program, the right diet, whatever. But they really need to understand that it's because they are so obsessed with the speed of success that they want, that's actually their weakness. When you change your mindset that this whole quest for, long-term success in the weight loss department takes years, that's your weapon to success. I tell people all the time when I brand new clients, I tell them all the time, I won't take you as a client unless you commit at least 1 year with me. And then from there, I want you to think that this thing doesn't stop at that 1 year mark. It stops when your body stops living, essentially. We're meant to be active creatures. We're meant to push, pull, lunge, squat, jump, run, all these things. I have this online client that I've been coaching for 4 months. And, we've seen some great success in measurements. And I was so happy and thrilled to see that change. But just because they lost a couple inches here and there, they felt like it wasn't enough. And I'm like, in 4 months you did that. That's amazing. The first 2 months of any kind of new health regime, it's like you try to figure out the kinks in anything. It's like if you bought an IKEA furniture set and you get that manual and you read it a couple times, and even after reading it a couple times and you're putting the freaking shelf together, you're putting the screws in the wrong place, you have the wood piece laid out wrong, and it's not until a couple of tries until you actually figure out, you're like, oh, it goes like this makes sense. It's similar to coaching clients. Like, the first 2 months is just trial and error, and then when we find a good pattern, it's like, okay, let's keep at it, you know? So in 4 months to actually lose inches and go in the right direction, like, that's huge. And that was only in 4 months. Imagine in the next 4 months, and then the 4 after, and the 4 after. Speed and the obsession of speed for the results that you're looking for makes you so vulnerable. You have no idea. Like, if people understood this would give them so much clarity to why they need to refocus their energy on other things. Like, it's kind of similar to when people are trying to lower their stress. The more you think about how stressed you are, the more stressed you end up becoming. Like, it's redundant. Like, and we all know this. Stressing out about being stressed doesn't make you less stressed. So, I guess my challenge for all of you is to think of long-term commitment when it comes to your health. Like, your body is constantly turning over at a cellular level. It never stops. And we have opportunities every single day to influence our body for the better. But a lot of us choose not to do so. And then when we do decide to do so, it's not enough. And then that's the other thing. Sometimes you might not be putting the enough effort in to expect the kind of speed that you're looking for. And then that's a whole nother shit pile, right? Like, get self-aware enough to see if you're actually putting the amount of effort. Because a lot of times people are like, oh, you know, I work out enough, I eat pretty well. That doesn't translate to the actual effort required to see the speed that you're looking for. You know, ask any athlete that's competing at a high level how many hours they train per week, and then you'll see how fit they are. So remember, speed is going to be the number one killer of your success. Start thinking long term, and you've unlocked the secret to success when it comes to fitness and health. So that's it for me, you guys. Thank you so much for listening. You guys are amazing. Share this podcast with your friends and family. You know, hit the show notes. Add me on Facebook. Add me on Instagram. Cut the Shit Get Fit podcast. Hit the show notes, and also follow me on YouTube, because if you need exercises, freaking it's on there. It has so much stuff on there. Thank you so much for the support, you guys. I love you all. Until next time.